Arkansas and Missouri require insurance companies to make a diligent inquiry into the facts and circumstances surrounding an accident and determine liability within a reasonable time. Once liability is established, damages must be determined, which will reasonably and fairly compensate the injured party for applicable damages. Compensation is available to an injured person for the nature, extent, duration, and, if applicable, permanency of injuries. If you do not have a severe injury, you can suggest a lump sum number that can fairly compensate injuries. This number should be rationally related to the facts of the case. If you have significant pain, a lengthy duration of suffering, or extensive injuries, then you can stress a per diem argument. In Arkansas, an injured person is entitled to recover for all reasonable and necessary medical expenses incurred. In Missouri, the injured person is entitled to bills incurred and either paid or actually owed, as well as the present value of future medical costs reasonably certain to be incurred in the future. Past medical bills require testimony that the treatment was for injuries caused by the accident and were reasonable and necessary to help the injured person. Future medical expenses may be established by a showing of a degree of medical certainty of future medical expenses. An injured person is entitled to recover for pain and suffering and mental anguish experienced in the past and reasonably certain to be experienced in the future. Mental anguish is applicable if the injured party has sought out psychiatric treatment, counseling, or has been prescribed anti-anxiety or other medications prescribed to deal with anguish associated with injuries. Future pain, suffering, or mental anguish must be established by a reasonable certainty and not left to speculation. Generally, medical providers are the best source of testimony to present to the jury. The most objective way to quantify pain and suffering is to advance to the jury the amount prescribed for the nature, extent, and duration of injuries. An injured person that works is entitled to the value of any earnings or salary lost and the present value of any future earnings or salary. A self-employed or other business person is entitled to any lost profits and the present value of any profits reasonably certain to be lost in the future. If a person suffers a permanent injury and is prevented from returning to his previous full employment capabilities, then that person is entitled to recover for loss of earning capacity. If there is proof of permanent disability, this element of damages may be submitted to the jury, even in the absence of specific evidence of pecuniary loss due to inability to earn in the future. An injured person is entitled to recover for any scars, disfigurement, and visible results of an injury. However, this can be a difficult element to quantify. It is often best to add testimony from third parties as to how the deformity, scarring, or disfigurement has affected the life of the injured person. In some instances, the scarring and disfigurement can interfere with the person's livelihood, and as such, can be considered in both the loss of earning capacity realm and the scarring and disfigurement realm. They are to be argued as separate and distinct damages. The law says that an injured party can recover the reasonable expense of any necessary help in his home required as a result of his injuries, and the present value of such expense reasonably certain to be required in the future. In cases of catastrophic injury, it is not unusual that in-home healthcare assistance be required. Durable medical equipment, services, medication, and other home health aids are to be considered. In these cases, it is best to hire a life care planner and economic expert to set out the future requirements for care and to quantify the future life care plan. These damages are generally some of the most significant found in tort cases. The best advice to anyone injured by the negligence of another is to work hard to recover and move on with your life. Those who stay the course generally have the best medical and legal results. If you have been injured by a defective product, auto accident, or by a bad drug, please call today for a free consultation.